This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
Low here. I hope you guys can hear me a little bit better there. Welcome back to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. I am meteorologist CJ Cartledge here, making an appearance once again here. I know you guys did not see me on the green wall for this weekend. I did go back home to see some family for the Memorial Day weekend, but I am now back in action for the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. Maybe I need to turn this down just a tad bit. Saw my levels peaking a little bit there. But, well, once again, welcome back. I am meteorologist CJ Cartledge here for another appearance on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. But today we have some topics for you that we will be talking about here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. Let me move my name right there off the screen. We are going to be talking about today's local forecast. We're still going to be dealing with the daily rain chances across the ArkLaTex here, as well as we're going to do a little bit of an explanation here about what causes wind here. And there's many factors that did pick the wind direction and the wind speeds here, but we're going to go into detail a little bit about how wind is actually formed and how it is sustained here. It's mainly because of these weather systems that will be moving around the ArkLaTex from day to day here. But let's take a quick look at our weather headlines for today here. We're going to be putting this back on the screen here, taking this off. Here's our weather headlines for today, Wednesday, May 28th. Stormy weather is likely across the ArkLaTex this afternoon and evening, with a system moving in from the south and west as we move into the next couple of hours ahead. It's going to be drying out as we head into our Friday. The storm system may stay in the area until we hit our morning hours on our Thursday, maybe during pretty much an overnight event, as the system will be moving in from the south and west, moving off to the north and east, with maybe a few isolated showers being left behind here as we move towards the early morning hours on our Thursday. Things are to clear out by Thursday afternoon. Maybe a stray rain shower or two is expected for late Thursday evening into our Friday morning, but things are to clear out pretty much as we head to our Friday as well. Warmer weather is expected to return as we head into this weekend, as well as that sunnier and drier weather across the ArkLaTex here. Here's a quick look at First Alert Doppler radar across the region as of right now. Those are those rain showers that we are talking about, looking to move in from the south and west throughout this afternoon and evening, but it seems to be a little bit ahead of schedule here. I'm going to go to the Dallas radar to maybe see it a little bit better. It doesn't look to be a little bit better here, so we can see it a little bit better here from the Shreveport radar, but this does look to bring the chance for severe weather into the southern portions of the ArkLaTex region as we move through the day today. And here's our temperatures right now. I'll be talking about that severe risk in just a second here. Here's our temperatures: 70 for Idabel and DeQueen, 74 for Texarkana, 72 near Mount Pleasant, 73 for Longview and Marshall, 77 here in Shreveport, looking to tie the warmest conditions near Bienville as well, near 77 degrees, 75 for Mansfield, 74 for Natchitoches, and 75 as well near Florine down to the extreme southern portions of the region. And here's the rain chances that we can expect through the next couple of hours or so, at least through the next 24 hours here. I'm going to move myself off the screen. We see the higher spike with scattered showers and storms possible from around 5 to 7 p.m. this afternoon and into this evening, where the rain chances look to trickle off down to isolated and slim to none heading towards the late evening hours. Texarkana sees the lower rain chances. They may see a little bit of later timing from when they will receive these possible showers and storms. And Natchitoches sees the highest rain chances for this afternoon, or this late afternoon and into the evening, with the highest chance for rain as we move towards the 7 p.m. hour for Natchitoches down to the far south and southeastern portions of the region. Our severe risk for this afternoon and evening shows an marginal risk of severe weather, which is shown in the green color, level 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. The main threats being the damaging winds and the large hail. But it doesn't look to be so likely that we will receive damaging type of winds, but it's definitely possible, which is why we're under a marginal risk. It's more likely going to be some gusty winds and maybe some pea-sized to quarter-size hail. Could see some hail sizes up to $half size, but we're not expecting much to come out of this event. But it doesn't mean that much won't come out of this event. So we still have to take this very, very seriously as we move into this afternoon and evening. But if you're going to be out and about during this afternoon and evening, make sure to bring an umbrella out just in case you guys will receive rain showers, because it looks to be pretty likely across most of the area, especially for the southern half of the ArkLaTex region. Here's our highs for today: 83 in Shreveport, 82 for Mansfield and Manny, 84 near Natchitoches, 80 for Idabel and DeQueen at around 81 degrees. Same for Hope, 82 for Texarkana, 83 for Shreveport. I'm not sure if I said that already. 79 for Mount Pleasant, as well as Nacogdoches off to our East Texas portions of the region. Now here's a look at Future Track. These rain showers, according to Future Track, are still down to the far south and east, outside of our south and west, outside of our region, near the Houston area. But as the first alert Doppler radar, we are seeing these rain showers starting to move into our southern East Texas zones as we speak here. So as we move more into this afternoon and evening, we can start to see more showers and storms move in. And as you can see, the higher rain chances look to be spread across the ArkLaTex, ranging from Mount Pleasant all the way down to Natchitoches in our Louisiana portions of the area. And these showers and storms may approach areas like Texarkana and southwestern Arkansas later on into the early evening hours, by the time we hit around maybe 9 to 10 p.m. And we should start to see these showers and storms dissipate as the night progresses. But it looks to be bringing about a circulation of showers and storms here, which could bring another round as we move into the early morning hours on our Thursday, according to this model here, with the low pressure system developing within our area and slowly making its way outside of the region as we move more into the daytime hours on our Thursday. And there goes a cold front that will be moving through actually as we move into the midday hours on our Thursday, leaving us under mostly sunny conditions through the rest of the daytime hours and into our evening. But we could still see a stray rain shower or two across the area heading into the early morning hours on Friday before everything clears out once again by the time we hit the afternoon hours on our Friday coming up. Now, here's our rain chances for the next 5 days ahead. 50% for today. We could see a little bit lower rain chances for Friday. I'm expecting them to lower as we receive more updates from the latest model runs here. Thursday, around 30% chance for rain, mainly due to the overnight showers and storms that we can expect through tonight into early tomorrow morning. Saturday's rain chance looks to be pretty much nothing. We expect it to be a mostly dry day across the region. Same thing for Friday, where I can expect rain chances to lower with the newest updates that are expected to come out later on today. And as we move towards Sunday, rain chances may return to the ArkLaTex as the heat and humidity looks to make its way back into the region by the time we hit early next week. Next 5 days ahead, 87 for a high on Thursday. Our high for today looks to be around 83 degrees. But as we move towards Friday, once the cold front finally makes its way into the region and bring the full effects of it, highs will lower down into the upper 70s and lower 80s for our Friday afternoon. Heading into Saturday and Sunday, highs back into the upper 80s and lower 90s across the region here. Definitely comfortable and warm conditions out there across the ArkLaTex. Not much humidity is expected until we hit our Monday, where we could see that muggy and or oppressive feeling conditions out there once again here. Here's our weekend forecast. We're expecting 0% chance for rain on our Saturday, slight chance for rain on Sunday, but highs will still remain in the upper 80s and lower 90s, or actually bounce back into the upper 80s and lower 90s heading through this weekend. So if you have any weekend plans, the weather is going to be cooperating for that for sure. Not much really to worry about on that front. In terms of the muggy meter, we can expect the humidity to pretty much be on a roller coaster. As you can see here, we're expecting sticky conditions for today, oppressive feeling conditions by the time we hit our Thursday, just before the cold front moves through. It's going to be moving through the midday hours, actually, and starting to lower that humidity, or lower the dew points, I should say, through the rest of the work week and into the weekend, where we can expect comfortable feeling conditions on Saturday, mostly comfortable feeling conditions for Sunday, before we finally feel back to oppressive feeling as we move into our Monday and Tuesday of our next work week. Maybe a little bit sticky, more likely sticky as we move into our next Tuesday. So the humidity is expected to lower as we move through the next couple of days, but it's expected to return later on into the forecast period. That's pretty much what the forecast is saying as of right now. Here's our 7-day forecast, though. Wednesday, we have a pretty moderate chance for rain, so make sure to keep that umbrella handy, especially during the afternoon and evening hours for today. Highs will remain in the lower 80s out there, but at a lower 80s and upper 70s, as I should say. As we move towards our Thursday, we can expect temperatures to rise back into the mid and upper 80s. Some of us maybe even the lower 90s for those that won't receive much or any rain showers out there during the early morning hours. Friday, we could expect that rain chance to lower a bit, as models are not picking up on much rain as of right now. And that storm system will be slowly making its way outside of the region. It will most likely be during the morning hours, once again, similar to how we will see for Thursday before everything clears out by the afternoon. As we move into our Saturday and Sunday, we're expecting mostly comfortable conditions out there across the region as highs rise into the upper 80s and lower 90s once again. And as we move more into next week, we can expect more of the lower 90s across the region as temperatures, lows actually in the morning, will reach back into those 70s, similar to how we saw for some portions around the region last week here around the ArkLaTex. So definitely pretty rocky forecast ahead for the ArkLaTex, but we are going to see some drier conditions arrive as we move later on into the 7-day period. Coming up after this break, though, we will be describing a little bit of a explanation of how wind is formed and how wind is sustained, and how it varies pretty much based off of weather systems that will roll around the ArkLaTex, or roll around the country, actually roll around the world at that. So we're going to be diving a little bit into an explanation on how wind is formed and how wind is caused. Make sure to stay tuned. In about 2 minutes, I'll be explaining or breaking down the details of how wind is formed. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. This graphic is going to be pretty much a depiction and explanation of how wind is caused and how it's pretty much formed here. So we have two soda cans. One within, both of them with an inside pressure pretty high here. I'm going to actually move myself off the screen so you can see it in full here. So we have two soda cans where there's pretty much high pressure in there. So soda, as you may know, has carbonated water and a lot of air bubbles in it. So it causes the pressure to be high inside of the can, while the outside air pressure outside of the can is not so high. As you can see, with a larger space, it's a smaller space inside the can, especially with the carbonated water in there. It promotes higher air pressure within the can. So air pressure is always trying to reach a state of equilibrium. That's the main basis of what causes wind. So air pressure is always trying to reach a state of equilibrium. You can also see this as a pendulum. As you can see, well, if you can picture in your head, a pendulum is the little ball that swings on a string that tries to, swings back and forth. It just swings back and forth until it reaches equilibrium. And once it reaches equilibrium, it tends to stop. That's when it stops right in the middle. So as we continue on with the explanation here, as we open the right can, that's when you start to see that the air is being released from inside the can that allows for the pressure inside of the can to drop here or reach its equilibrium or be equal the outdoor air pressure. So as you can see, the air pressure inside starts to lower as the wind starts to release from the inside of the can here. So that is what causes the wind. The air that's being released from the inside the can is what causes wind, pretty much. As you can see, wind is formed in an attempt to restore balance from differences in air pressure, in this case, between the inside and outside of the can. Once that pressure is equalized, the wind will stop. So that's pretty much what causes it there. The greater the difference in pressure, the stronger the wind. So if there's a high pressure inside of the can and you release it, the higher the wind will be coming out of the can. The lower the pressure inside the can, the lower the weaker the wind will be once you release that air pressure within the can here. As you can see, once you open that can, the air pressure or the wind will be pretty high coming out of that can, because it is just waiting to get out, as you can see, or pushing against the sides of the can. So this can be applied to a real world situation when or the earth. Same as the global scale. Air pressure is always trying to reach a state of equilibrium. So you have a high pressure off to the western portion of the United States, which promotes clockwise motion, which is why you see the arrows moving in a clockwise direction. Low pressure moves in a counterclockwise direction here. So that promotes, or in the middle there, that promotes north to south wind. As you can see by both circulations, the right side of the high pressure system and the left side of the low pressure system are both heading in the same way here. So as you continue here, the weak high pressure and the weak low pressure allows for weak winds. Since the low pressure system is not very big, high pressure system is not very big, that allows for weak winds to come from north to south, or at least northwest to southeast. And small changes in pressure equals weak winds. As we move to a larger scale, if these high pressure system and low pressure system are stronger, that allows for large changes in pressure. That means stronger winds heading out of the northwest and going down to the south and east. So that is pretty much what causes wind here, with the difference of low pressure systems and high pressure systems. As we compare that to how it is now, a low pressure system is currently off to our west. It actually moved off to our east of the Memorial Day system, and it moved from the northwest down to the south and east. So as it moves down to the south and east, it allows for winds to come in from the north and west, which is why we've been receiving northerly winds for the past couple of days, which is why we receive cooler air. Any wind, or most winds coming from the north, are bringing cooler air. As you may know, warmer conditions are expected near the equator, cooler conditions as you get closer to the poles. So most northerly winds are bringing in cooler air into the ArkLaTex, not so much warmer air. But if you look at southerly or southwesterly winds, then they most likely will bring in warmer air. So that's pretty much an explanation on what causes wind, especially around the ArkLaTex and around the country here. A strong high pressure system off to our west, strong low pressure system off to our east, and in the middle of that is winds that are heading in the same direction pretty much. As you can see by the eastern side of the high pressure system, it's heading in a downward direction. The western side of the low pressure system is also heading in a downward direction. So once these two systems are right next to each other, it promotes downward flow, which is why you receive winds are coming in from the north and west and heading down to the south and east. So that's pretty much the explanation of that. So that's pretty much an explanation. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to take another 2-minute break, and I will be back to wrap up the show and talk about what we're going to expect for tomorrow's show, where meteorologist Evan Thomason will be returning here. Make sure to stay tuned for these last 2 minutes. And welcome back to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. So the 7-day period is pretty much a rocky type of pattern where we're going to be wrapping up the daily rain chance trend that we've been seeing throughout this past weekend and into last week, actually, especially with the severe weather that happened on Memorial Day. We will also be wrapping up on tomorrow's episode where meteorologist Evan Thomason will be back on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. He'll be talking about the national severe weather that has been happening or across the country, kind of redundant, but severe weather that's been happening across the country throughout the past couple of days, especially with Memorial Day happening, and as well as yesterday's severe storms that happened in the southeastern United States. I know there was tornado warnings firing off from Mississippi, Alabama, all the way into Georgia yesterday, and even some portions of Florida, I believe. But he'll be diving more into the severe weather that's been happening across the country through the past couple of days here, and what we can expect throughout the next incoming days. Actually, that they believe there's a severe risk for tomorrow in some portions around the country as well as today. There's a higher risk of severe weather just outside of our region to the west. Not so much for us, though. We still under a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather. Gusty winds, possibly some small to medium-sized hail. I could expect maybe pea-sized hail, maybe up to quarter-sized hail, but nothing too outrageous here in terms of the hail sizes. They're both at a 5% risk, according to the Storm Prediction Center. But If you have any other ideas that you want us to talk about on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown, make sure to send us an email at weatherbreakdown@ksla.com or message us on Facebook at KSLA First Alert Weather Team. Make sure to keep joining us on weekdays streaming at 10:30 a.m. So tomorrow we'll be streaming at 10:30 a.m. and so will we be doing on our Friday here. So much cooler conditions, or not much cooler conditions, but cooler conditions are on the way as we move to our Friday. Temperatures are expected to rise back up into the upper 80s and lower 90s heading into our weekend, and possibly even higher than that as we move into next week with slight rain chances returning into the forecast. Make sure to keep that umbrella handy as we move through the rest of this work week. Not so much into this weekend, but you'll possibly need it as we move into next week here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist CJ Cartledge here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.